As always, when building an application, we should first import the modules we need. We've already discussed about many of the modules over here, but there are a few that you are seeing for the first time. This is the MySQL module, for which we're going to use an alias, MDB. Then there's the datetime module, right here, which helps us get the current date and time. And then another new module would be Colorama. You can see it right here, which actually makes the program output prettier in the Linux console, using different colors and degrees of brightness for text. If you would like to run this application or any other program periodically in a Linux system, then you should use crontab. I've written a few comments about using crontab in case you are interested, so you can find them right here. Next, I have initialized Colorama for further use into the program. Notice that I didn't prepend init with the module name because I used the from import statement to import Colorama. The next thing I did is I used an if-else block to check if the user passes the correct number of arguments when running the application using the Python command in the Linux terminal. Remember that the Python script name is the first argument of the command. That would be sys.argv of 0. Then the three files we pass as arguments would have indexes 1, 2, and 3 from sys.argv's point of view. So we would have a total of 4 arguments. This leads us to the condition we need. If the length of the list generated by sys.argv is 4, then we define 3 variables, each corresponding to a file passed as arguments in the command. Then, using format operators and Colorama, we print each file name in a nice and colored format. Else, if the length of sys.argv exceeds the value of 4 or is below that value, then a message is displayed to the user and the program exits. Now a few words about Colorama. We have imported only some names from the module. You can see them right here. Init and deinit, which take care of the initialization. Then we have for, which sets the text color, and then style, which sets the brightness. For and style should be included in the print statements, as you can see in this piece of code right here. Go ahead and play around with colors and styles to experiment this module. Next, we have the same IPIsValid function as we did in the SSH application. The code is almost identical, that's why I'm not gonna explain it again in detail. In summary, the function reads the IP addresses from a file, checks their validity, right here, and then verifies the IP connectivity to each address to each router in our network. One thing to mention here is that unlike in the SSH application, this time when checking the IP reachability to each router, no output is shown on the screen because of this setting right here. This trick helps you to have a silent, elegant ping test when running the program. Next, below, we have two functions which, again, we've already seen in the SSH application. Their role is to check if the files we are passing in as arguments exist in the file system, and if they don't, then they print a message to the user and exit the program using sys.exit. Finally, using try-except blocks to cover the keyboard interrupt exception, we call each function that we defined above. Up until this point, I think you should consider this code pretty straightforward. This has been part 1 of the application. See you in part 2.